Thank you all for joining and welcome. Welcome to the wonderful world of Similarweb. My name's KB, and I'll be walking you through how to set up and make the most out of your Similarweb account. This session is designed for new and returning users in the starter and professional packages. And by the end of this session, you should have all the basic tools to see immediate value from Similarweb. So let's get started. All right, and I'm always an advocate of making sure you know I'm a real person behind the screen. So my name is Caitlin. I go by KB. I'm a client success project manager here, focusing on CS strategy. I've been with Similarweb for about 4.5 years. It's crazy how time flies. Beforehand, I actually came from the world of PPC. So for all my performance marketers here on the line, I'm here. I speak your language. And I spend time relaxing by flying my kite. So if you haven't done that in a while, highly recommend. It's a great distressor. I am also here with Tomer. So he's my colleague who leads our managed services team, and he's going to be answering all of the questions in the Q&A. So make sure if you do have any questions as we go, to type it in the Q&A box. But do not worry, we're also going to save some time at the end of this webinar to answer any questions you might have. All right, so our webinar has two goals. We are going to be setting up your Similarweb platform and then running your first competitive analysis. So as you can see on this slide, we're going to do some live creation together. So it'd be best if you also open your Similarweb account and navigate alongside me. I'm someone who learns by visual as well by doing, so this is a really great way to get the muscle memory of the platform. And also don't worry, we are recording the session, so we'll send that over afterwards, and make sure you type in those questions as you go. And also, I'm going to mention this is one of my first tips and tricks. Make sure you save your Similarweb homepage as a bookmark for easier access. It's my most used one on my computer, and it's a great way just to always navigate back. So we have two separate sections here, the setup, so making sure that we set up your projects in your homepage, setting up alerts, connecting your GA data, and then also running your own analysis of Similarweb. It's the bread and butter of what we do, running that competitive analysis, seeing which marketing channels are being used by your competitors to see growth, as well as looking at keywords and also setting up those dashboards so that it's ease of reporting and you can send that out company-wide. Housekeeping. So navigate with me as you listen. Recording will be sent out afterwards. Please ask questions. I have the expert here on the line here, Tomer, to help answer any questions you might have or lead you in the right direction to some of our support articles, because we have a huge knowledge base of different educational material. And make sure that you stick around afterwards if you do have any questions so we can answer those live. Now, I always like to start every conversation around our data, especially because I like to nerd out about how we collect this data, because especially if you're going to be sending this out company-wide or using it to do your own analysis, people might ask, well, where is this data even coming from? And what makes us truly unique is the fact that we are the best in class data. So we have 4 different ways that we compile our data. The first one is a contributory network, which is a collection of anonymous behavioral data that is collected from our own products. We have this globally. We then supplement this with data partnerships to make this data collection even more robust. And then we further supplement it with publicly sourced data. So think of things like SERP features. And last but not least, our secret sauce, direct measurement. We have businesses all over the world connect their analytics with ours to act as almost like a control group, just to make sure that we're staying directionally accurate over time. I'm going to show you how to connect yours in just a minute as well. That way you can see your actuals compared to estimations. It's just a really great way to see your own data within the interface as well. And you'll see that we've kind of follow you around asking to connect it so that you do see your actuals in there. But as a summary, there's thousands of data points that we use to show you our estimations. But the best part is, drum roll, we're not cookie based. So in the age of, what's going to happen to cookies, do not worry. We have our data collection is outside of that. All right. So, I think I need to get out of this slide deck. It's time for us to dive right on into the platform. All right. So when you first log into Similarweb, this is going to be the screen that you see. Insightful, right? Oh, don't worry. It will be in just a moment. We just have to set everything up. But what I would love to do first before we dive in and start uncovering your, competitors' secrets, is I want to give you a little lay of the land, a little navigation here on the side. We have, I'd say it's like compiled into, I'd say 4 to 5 distinct sections, but you're only going to use 3 of them to begin. The first one up here is going to be your reporting hub. So this is where you can go in and set up your homepage, which is what we're going to do today to start, but also where you'll be able to treat the platform almost like a puzzle and add in your different pieces to create your dashboards and your reporting. So I'm going to just, stick that in your head for just a moment, and we'll talk about that towards the end. But you're going to ask different questions when you're doing your competitive analysis. You're going to ask, well, what am I supposed to, like, what am I, or how is my market doing? So like a conglomerate of all the different sites that you take a look at in your competitive set, which could be your North Star competitors, luxury competitors, smaller players that are appearing. We have a way for us to take a look at the entire category of sites, as well as dive deeper into one or a competitive set of different players out there. So I call this the bread and butter of Similarweb because it's where our core functionality lives. And then we also have ways for us to dive deeper into the world of search. So if you're looking at it from a keyword perspective, asking yourself, well, what's driving traffic from more of a keyword lens? What topics are people typing in? This will be a great place for you to run your own ad hoc analysis. But there's a lot going on this screen. So where I always begin whenever I'm starting my flow in Similarweb or whenever I'm teaching someone the new flow is going to be the homepage setup, especially because it's a great like jumping off point for you to actually go in and run your own analysis as well. It's a great way to get like an overview of all the data. And within just a couple of seconds, it'll be compiled for you. I love to use luggage as an example. Main reason why I've been trying to find a nice, like a nice set of luggage for a long time. A terrible customer, I can say, because I've been probably nurtured by every brand for the past 2 years. But I'm going to start off by saying that I am Samsonite. And then we'll click on start, but you'll put in your own site here as a way to begin. And then you'll be able to go in and add your competitors, and you can have up to 10 domains here at one time. So I'm going to add Tumi and Away Travel. I'll add Monos and Calpac, maybe even Ramoa in here as well. But if you're in here and you're like, well, one of my competitors isn't appearing the way that I'd want it to appear, all you have to do is just type it in here. I'm going to do Base Travel just because I like their brand too. And I'm going to click on Finish. You can name this whatever you like. I'll just do Samsonite for today. I'll click on Open. And wow, in just 30 seconds, we have a full competitive analysis report just for you. And now that we have it created, let's explore all the different insights that you see here. At the very top, we have a way for you to connect your first-party data with our interface. I'm going to talk about that in just a moment as well, because I want to make sure that I'm calling out some of the red and gray and green that I see on the screen. As a past digital marketer, whenever I saw red, I'd be like, uh-oh, this might be something I have to talk about internally. What is going on? So what we can do here first is we can say, well, here's my competitive set. So I am Samsonite. We'll just play as Samsonite for just a moment. So all of you guys in the attendee list, we're all talking luggage today. So hopefully you have a vacation plan because this will help you out. But if I was Samsonite and I'm looking at this in a weekly time period, all traffic, so both mobile and desktop, worldwide, and I'm again looking at this weekly, but I can toggle it over for monthly if I'd like. It just shows how fresh our data is. I'm probably going, uh-oh. So my traffic is starting to go down 0.72 week over week. We're calling that stagnating because it's not a crazy drop. But when we're looking at this year over year, it's a little bit more drastic, as you can see. Now, what I use this report for is not just saying, okay, am I increasing or declining, but is there a player that maybe I need to be more focused on right now who's seeing those growths for whatever reason? So I see like Ramoa is starting to increase. I see Tumi, especially when we're seeing that the entire competitive set is seeing declines, but there's that one competitor who's just doing so much different, going against the grain of what the industry is doing. I probably want to dive deeper into them and see, well, what marketing channels are driving that traffic? Is there a keyword that they're using? And also, we as marketers, we know that there is way more to talk about than just traffic. Is it good traffic? So I can click on this little view full report to get deeper insights into what is happening within this competitive set. And not just take a look at this week, but also take a look at previous weeks. Am I noticing that I'm declining week over week over week, last couple of weeks? Is this more of an issue than I would have thought, or is this a trend that I'm kind of aware could happen? A good example would be after the holiday season, sometimes we see that everyone starts to see a drop because all the shoppers are all burnt out from shopping, and now they're going back and starting to save some money, or their money is being put in somewhere else. So we can see this week over week. We can take a look at this in more of so like we can look at this either weekly, or we can take a look at this monthly within this report. So there's so many different ways that you can toggle this back and forth. I can see where Samsonite clearly lies in terms of their rank with all of the other competitors that I had in the entire list as well. So you can see here who's the one that's like doing the best right now, and maybe I need to have them in the back of my mind more in terms of prioritizing my competitors. We also see what their current reach is. So who has the largest slice of the pie in terms of the entire audience of these luggage providers. And we can see where, Samsonite is and all of the potential they could potentially have as well. Samsonite is a leader in the industry. They're old reliable. Well, maybe there's someone like another competitor who's doing something different. And even if we're the trusted brand, we can always adapt. But like I mentioned, there is so much more than just looking at traffic. We also have to look at other key indicators of success. So you can take a look at visit duration. So right now, Samsonite's visit duration is actually going down, but their bounce rate is increasing. So you can see here what their bounce rate looks like compared to the competitive average. You can see over time, especially during times of seasonality, did they have a better success even back in the day as well? I know that we're always trying to see like what we should do next, but it's also good for us to take a step back and see what we did well so that we can try and replicate it in the future too. So we have all of the different ways that we can track engagement, whether that be pages per visit, which shows depth, page views, which shows like what is the consumer doing on our site as well, and are they going and viewing a bunch of different pages like throughout their journey, and where do we sit compared to the competitive set in terms of like how many pages people are going to, how long are they staying on the site, again to help us understand even if we're seeing declines in traffic, are we at least getting good people coming to our site that are valid in terms of growth? I'm going to click back into the main page here because this is me going down a rabbit hole of all the different traffic and engagement. But the next section that we can go to is setting up topics, because right now I haven't talked about a single keyword, and keywords are king. So we have a great way of saying, all right, well, we know that keywords and keyword strategies and staying on top of our topics is super, super valuable. And what we do now is we say, all right, well, help us create keyword lists with you, these like little topic clusters. So I'm going to add the suitcase one. There's this whole conversation around suitcase versus luggage. So I'm going to add that one here. I can add duffel bag, and I can create this topic here. You can add up to 20 of them, and we can take a look at this over time. So for the word duffel bag, this is a great way for us to say, well, if we need to like navigate away from these like super high volume terms like the word luggage or the word carry on and try and find a different topic that might be seeing some higher trends, this is a great way for us to do this and see who the leader is. So base travel is essentially running away with it, even though we're noticing, essentially like there's almost like a peaks and valley of this term over time. But we can see who the leader is, where is our share, and you can hover over here too and see, well, have we been even able to penetrate this topic in the past? So this could present an opportunity for Samsonite, especially if they're trying to find other types of terms that are starting to get more momentum, and also even see where do we lie and are we also seeing some of this growth. So even though the volume is starting to go down for this term, we are trying to get a deeper piece of the pie for this trend over time, which means as the volume goes down, maybe demand is going down, we can sit there waiting for when it starts to increase again. We all know that trends can pop up way overnight, so we have to make sure we're always, always ready. I've thrown a lot at you all so far. I just want to make sure that I'm also making it easy for you guys to come back into the platform over and over again and help us to hold your hand throughout this process as well, especially as you take advantage of all the different modules we have. So if you only have, let's say, 10 minutes to carve into your day to go into your competitive analysis and go through this entire platform, make sure you type in your competitor alerts here. So I'm going to click on this and you can subscribe to them and get a weekly or a monthly alert based off of this. And it'll help guide you. It'll bring you back into the platform. So again, if you're able to carve out that time every week, every day, here's where you need to go to make sure that you're staying top of industry trends. I recommend it to everyone. You're going to hear me talking about it constantly, making sure you subscribe to these alerts. It's almost like I'm a YouTuber, like and subscribe. But it's exactly what I'm trying to do today to make sure that we're always pointing you in the right direction. Super easy, right? Surface the insights that are simmering under the surface. Why wouldn't you want it? All right, let's talk about the Google Analytics connection that we see here, because this is almost like the last step of the process of making sure your homepage is set up 100%. This is the secret sauce. This is one of the pillars I mentioned about our data methodology. It's one of the ways that we make it happen, making sure that we're staying directionally accurate over time. And yes, there's something in it for you. As someone who's used Google Analytics in the past, it can be analysis paralysis right from the login. What we've done is we've cleaned up the data for you. We said, all right, we take your GA data, we pop it here, you see a nice overview, you see your exact numbers up here as well, and it's side-by-side view. It's a way to see and get comfort of knowing that you have your numbers in here, getting away from Google Analytics, which can be a mess sometimes, and having your own metrics real time in one place. So it really takes your competitive analysis to the next level. And just like that, congratulations. You've set up your Similarweb account. And, I would say with all the housekeeping I did, it took about 10 minutes for us to go through that. But if you were doing it on your own, and it would probably only take you just a couple minutes at best, maybe even 5. I'd be willing to bet on it. And we're just getting started is the best part. I've showed you a lot of data around traffic dips, ups and downs, but you might be asking, Caitlin, what do I even do with this? Like there's so many different trends I'm noticing right now. Samsonite's declining month over month, year over year. They're starting to see more stagnations. Like what can they do with this? And this entire time, we were allowing Similarweb to be the detectives. But as marketers trying to uncover the digital landscape, we need to explore and take matters into our own hands here. So we need to take action. So put on your detective hats with me. Similarweb is going to do the hard work for us, but we have to do the navigation. And I'm going to show you my go-to workflow of Similarweb, which is running your own competitive analysis. All right, so let's dive into here, this website analysis portion. This is the fun part for me because I'm able to first off start with my site, just like what I did beforehand. So I'm going to do Samsonite. And then we'll be able to compare up to 4 sites within this analysis. And we're going to start answering certain questions here, like what are the marketing channels causing growth? What are the specific strategies of each channel? What should we even do with this growth? And it all starts here within traffic and engagement. So I'm going to add, let's add Tumi. Remember we saw that Ramoa was seeing some increases. I'm going to do base travel as well. Let's add monos because I've seen they've been, they're always nipping at the heels of their competitors. This is great. I can also show you what one of our pop-ups look like as well. So these are ways for us to also help guide you in the platform. And I'm someone who learns as I go. So we have other ways to reinforce how you can go through the platform as well. So I'm in here, I'm looking at 5 competitors at one time. I highly recommend that you add in your competitive set whenever you go through this module. We can look at it in a couple of different ways. I can take a look at the last 28 days. I can look at the last month, depending on your package type as well. But really what I like to do is I like to click on my favorite button of the platform, which tells me period over period who is seeing growths, who is seeing declines, and is there a specific player that I need to focus on in more light? So when we were looking at this in more of a monthly view beforehand, we were seeing that there were certain players who saw declines, myself included. But what I can even tell from the very beginning up here, there's a lot of negatives here, a lot of red, a lot of red. Uh-oh, there's one player that's going against the grain of the competitive set. I'm going to highlight this button as well. I mentioned that this one's my favorite button. This one is a very close second. This is our dashboard. And I'm going to click on the dashboard here. I'm going to create a new one. I'm going to call it our webinar dashboard just so that we can play around with it together. But what this will do is it almost bookmarks different modules of the platform for you. So if you want to go back to it, you can go ahead and do that by clicking on View Dashboard. You can click up into here into your dashboards, but I'm going to just put a pin in that for a moment, and we're going to come back to it towards the end. So if you see something you like, add it to your dashboard. And you might be saying, Caitlin, well, what is Monos doing? Everyone else is declining. Obviously, they're doing something different. Well, let's go to the next piece of our analysis today. I'm going to take off this period over period just so I can explain what we're seeing here on the screen. So what this area of the platform tells us is which marketing channels are responsible for the traffic that these competitors are getting. Remember, marketers are master puppeteers. All the ads you see, the retargeting, anything you're being followed by, we have the 7 other channels that are responsible for that. So the first one here, we have direct traffic. So when someone goes to Samsonite on their own browser directly, not through any other channel. So they're just going straight to the marketing channel. We have organic and paid ads. So those are those text ads that you see on like search engines like Google. We see referral, which is any traffic from one website to another, or affiliate traffic is what it's commonly known as. Display ads are those picture ads that get followed across the screen, especially if you click on something. Like I'm always haunted by luggage because I'm always going to the luggage providers. And then we also have social and email that comes from either a social browser like facebook.com, linkedin.com, or email, which is like the gmails.com. And you know what? I'm going to add this to my dashboard too. I like it. And again, my favorite way of identifying which marketing channel is seeing the most traffic or maybe increases is I can click on period over period and I can say, all right, well, what is Monos actually doing? Wow, Monos is putting a lot of effort into their marketing strategy recently. I see that they're growing a lot in organic traffic. While everyone's dipping, they're seeing increases. You can even take a look at their display. So they're really going against the competitive set. And I can even take a look at one versus the other. So desktop, so in desktop, they're actually seeing different types of traffic increases. Even base is seeing increases in paid traffic, which means they're starting to invest. And if I decide that I want to dive into one marketing channel versus the other to really make sure I'm going deep into the rabbit hole of what they are like specifically doing, organic is a great example. Here on the very left, you have all of the marketing channels that you can dive into. So I'm going to click on organic overview, again, just to get a sense of what is currently happening here. I can take a look at this, maybe even like the last 2 months to see like what increases we're actually seeing. So again, we're kind of followed with the same insight as we go. I can scroll to see which type of keywords maybe we want to hone in on even further. So you can see Monos is in that little light blue. They're getting a lot of traffic for the word carry-on and best carry-on luggage. Anytime you see that like bright blue, that light blue section here, that's all of the traffic share of these terms that Monos is eating up. And all I have to do is navigate to this other section that I mentioned, that search intelligence area where we can do more keyword research to understand, well, what is this competitive set really focusing on in terms of the actual key terms? So this is the kind of like I'd say the finale, is making sure that we are looking at the terms. I'm actually going to click on this Explore Search Keyword section, which actually takes us into this module. But if you're ever lost, just click into keyword research. We have so many tools to make sure you understand the entire keyword landscape. But I'd say out of all of them out there, this is my favorite one because I'm still wearing the detective hat of the competitive analysis like world, but now I'm just looking at the actual terms that are getting traffic. And as like a nice rule of thumb, I can click on organic or paid. We have so many filters here to help you out. I can say I want to look at just the non-branded terms. I want to say that I just want to look at all of the trending terms here. And just like that, I'm able to see terms like best carry-on luggage, which is seeing a lot of traffic trends. Monos is really, really going after it, especially within the past 2 months. And this could be one of the reasons why Samsonite, other players are seeing more declines, but Monos is starting to get ahead, is by specific terms where they're coming in and taking up a lot of the traffic. Even if the terms are small, if I sort by change here and the terms are small, this could be the start of an amazing trend. They're even going after misspellings, which could be a simple strategy for us to maybe even put some PPC budget into, especially because Monos is running away with it. And even though it's small, the traffic adds up. Now I'm going to add this as my dashboard as well. I'm going to add it to my little webinar dashboard here. Again, almost as our finale, because I want to make sure I show you what this looks like. So all of the different puzzle pieces we've created as we were running our analysis is now compiled into this one little section. And the best part is I can click into the widgets themselves and it takes me back into the platform. So that's why I call it almost like a bookmark folder for us. It's a really great way for us to add in all of the pieces of our analysis into one. We'll have it as an overview, and all of your competitive reports will live here as well. And you can create them off of different themes. We created more like an ad hoc report, but if you want to use one of our templates, you can do that as well. And suddenly, within just a minute, you have a new report that you can take a look at scale. And I think this has been a huge theme. We make it even easier for you to go in and digest all of the insights that we're giving you. The first thing we have here is the export button. So you can download this as a PDF if you want to send it to your colleagues and say, hey, like we're seeing declines here. There's this key term we need to look at. It's a really great way to disperse information. We also have ways for you to subscribe to this as well, to get those alerts whenever we have our next data set available, when we have our weekly, our monthly data, it'll give you that alert to your inbox. You can just click right back into it. You can see the changes. So just like the homepage, you have another offering here in terms of an alert to help stay on track, especially because we can blink and then the competitive set changes, traffic goes up, traffic goes down almost overnight. Whew. Wow, this has been a very quick 28 minutes, and I'm actually going to go back to this slide here. Remember this? We just went through all of it together. And it just shows in like just 30 minutes, we can not just set up an account, but we can also just set up your account to run your first analysis. You can also start doing it on your own as well. And as an overview, you know now how to set up your homepage, analyze competitors, track traffic and terms, and turn on the alerts to be notified of any changes. And as an action item for everyone, please make sure your homepage is configured and you have your alerts turned on because it's just a really great way to ease in and learn the platform.